Hey friends, in today's video we are creating this look. I love the way that it came out. I created this look yesterday and I got so many questions and compliments on it. So I thought I would share it with you. And this video is packed with makeup tips and tricks. One in particular that I'm excited to share is how I have been addressing the dark sunken under eyes that I have found myself dealing with lately at 42, almost 43 years old. So a lot of new product discoveries that I'm excited to share. Yeah, this is just a nice chatty fun get ready with me. And I hope that you'll stick around. Let's get started. So I am starting with a pretty bare face. I've got my skincare, I've got my tinted SPF on, which is the Elastin Hydra Tint, which if you're not familiar with that product, it gives a little bit of coverage already in your SPF. It also gives a little radiant glow, which is really nice, and it wears beautifully under all the foundations. I have worn it under liquid, powder, cream, all of the foundations, and it looks so good. But let's go ahead and go in with foundation. I'm going to be using the new Natasha Denona High Glam Foundation. This is a hydrating and blurring, long wearing radiant foundation, and you guys, this is so beautiful. This is the shade in 7 and it's the perfect match for me. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate the bottle? I love the packaging. I love this kind of soft matte light peach nude shade, this frosted glass bottle. I just think it's really, really beautiful. I'm gonna go in with about a pump and a half is what I need. Now I've worn this foundation several times, and what I love about it is it gives a really natural radiance to the skin without looking shiny or greasy, and it really does last and wear all day. You don't have to worry about this foundation looking shiny or oily throughout the day. I really love it. The coverage is very nice. I would say it's a good, solid, kind of medium coverage. And I'm just blending this in with the BK Beauty 106 foundation brush. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. My name's Lisa and I'm actually the founder of BK Beauty brushes. So I'm a little biased, but I think they are the best brushes on the market. I love them and I always use them in my videos. So just that little disclaimer. Now, if you want to get the most coverage from any foundation really and you're using this brush, you're just going to kind of want to tap it on the skin. And then when you're ready to buff out, blend out, or sheer out, you can buff in larger circles. So you'll see me do that technique a lot around the jawline because I don't need a lot of coverage there. And you'll see me really bounce and build coverage in the center of the face. I like the texture of this foundation. It's a nice kind of lightweight consistency without being too thin or too watery. It's definitely not thick, but it's got a little bit of weight to it. Now, I'm not applying it underneath the eye area because I'm going to go in with concealer there, and you don't want to use more product than you need, especially underneath the eye area, because if you use heavy product there or layer too much product, it'll magnify texture under the eye. So fine lines, wrinkles, texture, smile lines, all of that, and we don't want to do that. This foundation gives a very healthy glow to the skin. It looks like freshly moisturized skin, I think is the best way to describe this foundation. And I think the color range is just perfect. It's so good. This is a true neutral. Not too warm, not too golden. It's just beautiful, you guys. And you can, of course, matte this down if you want to use a setting matting powder to matte any areas. I will mattify some areas, but I'm not going to mattify the entire face. And I've got a fun powder to share with you that I'm really excited about. And it's more on the affordable side. It's a Sephora brand collection. I've really been loving that product. Okay, so now we have foundation on. We're gonna go and conceal and brighten underneath the eyes. And I'm gonna share with you a new concealer that I've been using and testing for a few weeks. This is the RMS Revitalize Hydra Concealer. Now, RMS, I have heard such great things about their products. I've tried a few of them, but I would say that there is a lot more to explore in the RMS brand for me. I'm not familiar with a lot of their products, but I hear incredible things from just a range of people. I don't think I've heard anyone say anything negative about their products. Everything I hear is very, very positive. This is an amazing product. It's very hydrating. It's a creamy concealer, so if you have very dry skin or dry under eyes, I think you will really like this. And by the way, I am the shade WN011, so I'm assuming that's warm neutral 11. And I did originally get the wrong color here, and I had to go back to get this one. And this is a perfect shade. It's got a little bit of like yellow tone to it, and I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit in the inner corner and then a little bit out here in the outer corner. And we are gonna blend this in. I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 110 to blend this. This is a concealer brush, but it's a pretty large concealer brush. This was really designed to kind of work at like a beauty sponge would. So if you're someone that loves to use a beauty sponge to blend out your concealer, you will really like this brush. It's sized a little bit better for under the eye area, and it's gonna blend your concealer in as quickly as a sponge will, but it won't absorb any excess product. It's very nice. It covers so well too. It's really, really nice, you guys. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have that blended in, I was going to take the Trish McEvoy Instant Eye Lift. This is an eye brightener, but to be quite honest, now that I've got this concealer on, I really don't think that I need it. But I do want to share this product with you. I've been loving this product lately, and this shade will work for most skin types. There are deeper shades if you're a little deeper skin tone. This is like an eye brightener, and the way that I've been using it is I've been taking, you know what, we'll go ahead and put it on even though I don't need it because I already have concealer that has done the job. But I have really noticed over the last year my under eyes just not only looking darker, but being a little more sunken in, you know, and I knew this would happen. Yeah, I've heard this would happen for many years, but it's like a loss of volume underneath the eyes. And I've been very hesitant to do anything like filler underneath the eyes because I've heard mixed reviews about that. And not that I'm against any of that. I've done some things, but I do think that sometimes when we do those things, sometimes they can actually look worse than what you had before. And I don't know if that's the case with that filler underneath the eye. So anyway, all that to say is I've been looking into different treatments to address this, but I haven't yet taken the jump. So I'm trying to use makeup, and this product has been a game changer for me. So this is a light brightening, like color corrector. Do you see that? But it's very thin. So it's the pinky shade right here on the furthest part out of my hand. It's very lightweight. So it works really well and plays really well with other concealers. Now I've been placing it like right here. So I'm not going right underneath the eye, close to the lash line. I'm going further down because when I look into a mirror and I see the sunkenness, I see it really right there. So I'm applying it where it kind of divots into the skin and it's more hollow there. Does that make sense? That's where I'm focusing it, because this is lighter and brighter, and this is going to give the illusion that it's coming forward. So now, since we're sinking in, I want it to come forward. So that's how I've been using this product, and it has really been incredible. So you can do it like I'm doing it now, which is apply it after you've applied concealer, or if you want to save time and you want to do a little dab there and then your concealer in the other area, you can absolutely do that. The key is just making sure that you concentrate that light brightness in that specific area. So if you're going to mix it with your concealer and then blend out, just make sure that the two don't like just kind of melt together. Does that make sense? I mean, obviously you want them to blend together, but you do want to focus and keep that brightness really right here in that hollow space. I hope that makes sense, but I love this product. You can also use this in other areas of the face. So if you notice any like kind of sunken in here in the temples, you can use that there. If you have fine lines or deep lines here, which I do, but if you want to kind of bring that out there, you can use that product there as well. It's really a great highlighter, but also something to give the illusion that that area is coming forward. Add some volume. Just be minimal with it and just kind of build up. You can always go in and add more, but with makeup, you really want to slowly build. Okay, ooh, we are looking good. Look at the skin, you guys. It is so glowy. I love, love, love. Okay, let's go ahead and set everything. Now, I don't want to set the entire face, but I do want to set underneath the eyes and the center of the face. I cannot speak highly enough about this product. This is the Sephora Blur It Loose Setting Powder, and this is the shade 01 Brightening Pink. It is such a nice, beautiful powder, you guys. Very, very microfine. It actually comes with a little velour puff inside, which is so cute. So if you like to use that, you can do that. I'm not going to do that though, you guys. I'm actually going to dig into a brand new Nikki LaRose Volume 2 brush set. We just restocked these, you guys, just restocked them. We launched these last month and we sold out of them in 6 hours. And so we restocked them. They are available now. I'm going to tag them in YouTube Shopping if you guys want to shop them. In this video, you can just shop below while you're still in the video. But look, I'm going to use all these brushes today. Oh my gosh, I love these. So I'm going to go in with the N19, which the N19 Nikki designed to mimic the kind of shape of a velour puff. So if you kind of compare these two, do you see these two? Do you see this fine tip? It's supposed to mimic that part of a velour puff. So we're actually going to go in with this. And I'm going to load the brush up with powder. And I'm going to start in my forehead area right here between my brows because I don't know how much powder I picked up and I don't really want to apply that much under the eye. So I just kind of tapped it on the forehead first to get off any excess, and then we're going to go underneath the eye and set. Now what I love about this powder is it is very blurry. It kind of reminds me of like an airbrush tool. If you're in Photoshop, if you ever Photoshop any photos and you know that tool you can take and you can just kind of blur and smooth out texture on the skin, that is what this powder does. And it's so light, which I love. And it's a light brightening pink, so it is going to brighten up, similar to that Trish McEvoy eye brightener that I was sharing. This is like a powder version of that. And I'm just gonna really tap it and press it into the areas that I really wanna mattify. For me, that's right around the nose. And I do want to go right here in the smile lines as well. I'm going to keep the glow here on the cheek though, because I'm going to be working with some cream bronzer and I don't want to put powder there quite yet. I might go back later and powder, but for now we're not going to. Okay, I love this brush. You just can tap, tap, tap. Let's go ahead and move on to bronzer to warm up the face and add some dimension to the face. Okay, now I got this brand new bronzer from Bluemercury the other weekend in Dallas. It's Trish McEvoy. It's a cream bronzer, and you guys, when I tested this and swatched it, it was so incredible. Ooh, this actually lifts up. Oh, I see. So you can actually replace this. This is refillable, which is really nice. And I imagine you can actually fill it with any other type of product, so it doesn't have to be the cream bronzer. That's neat and handy. And I'm going to go in with the N18. This is our contour brush from the Volume 2 collection. It is shaped kind of like a fan brush, but you can see that it's a lot more dense, so it works really great with cream or liquid products. You can also use this with powder, really any formula. I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick this with kind of half the brush. This cream is really nice and soft and creamy. When I swatched it in store, I was just amazed by how creamy and soft it was. The color is really nice too. So I'm going to kind of blot it on my hand too. Do you see that? Oh, it's so good. I'm excited. We're going to go in and just kind of press and stamp this into the skin. Look at that. So good, you guys, wow. Then I'm gonna take what's left and we're gonna kind of run it into the hairline. And once I have most of the product off the brush and onto the skin, then I'll go back and really blend this out. Shear it out to about as much as I want. Look how pretty, it's so pretty. That's a very beautiful, soft, warm tone to give you that kind of just got back from the beach vibe. This brush is really designed to pick up and lay down a lot of product. So at first what I'm doing is I'm stamping to get the product onto the skin, and then I'm going to move it. I'm going to spread it and move it into the hairline. That way I don't apply too much in one area. And then when the brush has most of the product off, then I'll go back and blend. Perfect. Oh, so good. It blends so easily, you guys. This is a great cream bronzer if you kind of want a bronzer on training wheels. Like, it's not too pigmented, but it's not sheer either. There are some products that are easier to work with, I think, if you're a beginner, and I think that this one is. I'm also loving the Natasha Denona High Glam Cream Bronzer, or it's actually a liquid bronzer. That one is a little trickier because it's very pigmented and a little bit goes a very long way, so it's very easy to over apply that one. I think it's easy to fix it, but if you are a beginner and you're looking for a cream or liquid bronzer, I would recommend this over the Natasha Denona. And then I'm going to take the same brush and we're just going to kind of shape the nose a little bit with the same bronzer. Now let's go and even us out. Add a little bit more. Oh my God, that's so good. If you ever feel like you take your bronzer down too low or up too high, just take your foundation brush and kind of bounce it just around the edges, and that'll just clean everything up. In fact, I like to do this technique most times, even if I don't feel like I took it too high or too low. It's just a good way to really, really smooth everything out and get a seamless blend. Next, we're gonna go in with blush, and you guys, I have been raving about this blush for quite some time. I wore this yesterday when I did this look and I loved it. It had been a couple weeks since I used it, so here we are again singing this blush its praise. This is the Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Stick from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the shade Peachy Glow. And I'm gonna go in with the N20, which is my personal favorite out of this collection, which is saying a lot because I think all these brushes are amazing, but this one I would say is my personal favorite. This is a diffuser brush for the face. You can use this for many things. You can use this for highlighter, you can use it for blush, you can use it for both cream or liquid or powder. What makes this brush so unique is if you look closely, you can see that the fibers extend on the brush head. Do you see how the fibers extend? They're a little bit longer, those white tips. And then if you shoot down a little bit, this part of the brush is a little bit more dense. So if you want a very light, soft, sheer application, take your brush, hold it a little further back, and just use those white fibers and just barely kiss the skin very softly. Now, if you want more pigment payoff and you want to apply more product, really press that brush into the skin and apply more pressure, which is what we're going to do for the cream blush. Also, if you're working with a cream or a liquid product, something a little heavier, you're going to want to give it a little bit more pressure too. So I just loaded the brush up and I'm just going to smile and kind of press, start out here on the apple of my cheek, but really blend up and back. These are very creamy. I love these. Now, if you have oily skin, you might not like these. These might be a little too dewy for you if you have oily skin. I personally love them, and I think they're a great product for the fall and the winter as we're getting in and it's starting to cool off. The climate's getting a little drier and colder. I know my skin always starts to dry out. Maybe not quite this early of the year, but starting next month and into December, my skin is definitely going to take a shift. And I like to use creamier products during that time. This is so beautiful. You can really take this kind of in the center of the face, maybe even across the nose. Really pretty, just really warms up the skin and gives a very peachy glow to the skin. So pretty. Oh, I love this product. It is so beautiful. If you don't have one of these and you like a glowy cheek, this is so nice. Okay, moving on to eyes. So I'm gonna go in with the Makeup by Mario Longwear Master Mattes Cream Shadows, and this is the shade Sandstone. It's a very light neutral shade. I'm gonna do a little swatch all over the lid from the lash line up into the crease. These are very nice and long wearing. If you have oily eyelids and nothing stays on you, everything creases, I think you will love this. Now I'm going to go in with the N20S. This is a smaller eye version of the brush we just used for blush. And I'm going to use those longer fibers to really sheer this out and spread this. Now sometimes I will wear these just as eyeshadow, and then other times I will use them as primers. Today we're going to use it as a primer, meaning we're going to put shadow on top of this. But this is the secret and the key to keeping your shadow on all day, is using something like this underneath your eyeshadow to prevent oil from breaking through and breaking up your eye makeup look. I already did my brows earlier, but we are going to touch up the brows now that I'm paying a little more attention to them. We'll go in and touch them, clean them up. Oh, so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to use the new Patrick Ta. These are the Major Dimension Essential Artistry Edit, that's a long name, eyeshadow palette. So it's the little mini Patrick Ta palettes. I think they launched 3 of them, and I got the light one. You get 6 matte shades. They are all neutral. This one is pretty warm. You get 2 light ones, 2 kind of mid-tone, and then you get a little bit of deeper shadows. I used this yesterday. I'm still a little undecided on these. I liked the way my makeup looked yesterday. I definitely did. There was a lot of kickback though and fallout with these shadows, and I'm gonna actually show you so you can see. I'm gonna go first with this light shade. I'm going to mix these 2 to apply underneath my brow to highlight underneath the brow. We're going to use the BK Beauty 205, and we're going to just kind of run this right underneath the eyebrow to highlight a little bit. All the shades in here are matte, so there's no shimmer here, but this eye look is going to have a little fun shimmer in it, don't you worry. Next, I'm going to take the BK Beauty 212, and I'm going to take the middle shades here. So it's got these 2 right here. I'm going to actually mix these 2 together. Do you just see how dusty these are? They're very, very dusty. Look at that. So that's my only complaint. So that's going to translate to fallout if you're not careful, okay? So always tap your brush off before going into the eye because you will experience a lot of fallout. And we're going to take this and we're just going to sweep this all over the lid and into the crease. So this is going to slightly deepen that Makeup by Mario cream shadow that we put down. And it's also going to give a little bit more definition in that crease area. I mean, these shadows are good, but they're really not special. I kind of like the size. I like the size and the color combination that they offer. I'm definitely going to travel with this and use this, but I don't like that there's so much kickback. Now that we're looking, I feel like this eye has a little bit more, so we're going to go and just kind of even things out and really focus that in the crease to give that definition. So we're left with a neutral, warm, matte eye. I would say that's kind of mid-tone. It's not too light, but it's not really dark either. Very clean, very polished. I'm going to go back in with my 110, which was the concealer brush. I'm just going to kind of tap it up and then pull it up. So this is just going to clean up any fallout that we might have had and remove any fallout and just clean up the under eye. Let's go ahead and blow this off before we store it. And then we're going to go in and add what I call the accessories, the jewelry for the eyes. Now this is really the star of the show. So this is the Danessa Myricks Colorfix Sticks. Looks kind of like a large eyeshadow crayon is kind of what it looks like, but it's actually 2 small little cream shadow sticks that connect with this magnetic connector. So you don't have to connect them, you can, have them separately. And this is so beautiful, you guys. Let me show you. So this shade right here is the shade Lunar Veil. Look at that. Do you see when it reflects light, like just how foiled that is and how much light it reflects? It's so beautiful. And then we have this other shade, which is the shade we're going to go in with. This is the shade Solar Flare. And Solar Flare is more copper. And it's also a cream shadow, but it's not as foiled. You still get a lot of shimmer, but you don't quite have that foiled effect. Do you see the difference? There's a big difference, not only in the color, but the finish too. But we're going to go in with this one. We're going to go directly on top of the eyeshadow, and I'm really going to focus this kind of in the center of the lid and then work my way inward. Now, I will say, I noticed with these yesterday that I tried to go in with a brush and kind of blend them out quickly. They dry pretty quick, you guys, so you need to be fast, okay? You need to be fast. I'm just taking a tiny little brush. This is the 209, and I'm just feathering out any edges. And I'm going to take this little brush and I'm actually going to work this right here in the inner corner so I can have a lot of precision in my application there. There we go. I will say that it definitely applies better if you go directly to the skin. If you go directly to the skin, you're going to get more payoff, but then go in with the brush pretty quickly to blend it out because they dry and they dry down real quick. And once they're dry, they're pretty much there all day until you go in with makeup remover to remove them. They're very long wearing. But I wanted to show you how to use these products because I think they can be a little intimidating if you're in Sephora and you're picking one up to look at it. You're like, well, when am I going to wear this? You know, this is a little too much for me, or a little too shimmery, or a little too, you know, I don't go out enough. I can't wear something like this because I don't. That's not true. Like, you can definitely wear this. I wore this all day yesterday and I loved it. I thought it looked beautiful. I don't think it looked like it was too much. It really wore really nicely and I didn't feel like it was too much. And what's to say is too much anyway, right? I'm kind of getting past that point in my life. I'm like, if I want to wear it, I'm going to wear it, right? Okay, and make sure you do close these all the way because cream products like this, especially the long wearing ones, will really dry out if you don't completely secure them. Next, we're going to go in and line the eyes. I'm going to use the Persona eyeliner, and this is the shade Chocolate. And I'm going to line the outer half of the eye. Just a really beautiful, creamy chocolate brown. This is so creamy, you guys. Now, before this dries down, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take the Nikki LaRose N23 brush, this tiny little brush, and I'm just going to kind of run it over the eyeliner to softly smudge it and just even it out. It's also going to make it a little thicker, which is okay. Perfect. Oh, there we go. That's so good. Okay, then I'm going to go do the other eye. Do you notice I'm doing one eye at a time here? Again, because once this eyeliner dries down, it's designed to stay in place and not budge, which is great. But you want to make sure that you perfect it and get it exactly how you want it before it dries down. So always do one eye at a time. This is kind of my favorite just matte brown liner at the moment. It's just the perfect tone. It's not too dark, but it's rich enough and deep enough. I also love bronze eyeliners, but bronze eyeliners are a little softer, right? They're not going to be as rich and deep. So really work that product with this brush. So good. Now, I kept the lower lash line pretty clean yesterday. We're going to do a little bit of shadow under there, but I really want to keep the lower lash line pretty clean. So next we're going to go in and I'm going to take the BK Beauty N22 from the volume 2. This is a nice, precise kind of pencil dome brush. Do you see that? And I'm going to go back into the Patrick Ta palette and we're going to grab this shade right here. It's the middle row and the lighter of the two. And I'm just going to kind of coat the brush on either side, tap off the excess, and I'm going to softly run this on the lower lash line, very soft. Remember, the lower lash line, whenever you use a little tiny brush like this, it typically always translates a little darker than it looks in the pan. So even though this doesn't look like it's going to do much, it is going to give some definition down there, but I don't want it to be too dark. I'm really trying to avoid it being too dark. I really want it to be nice and soft. Okay, so for mascara, I'm going to go into the Revitalash mascara. This is a primer and mascara in one. First, we have the primer on one side, and we're going to really layer this all over the lashes. This is a great mascara. I feel like it's pretty dramatic. It's going to give a lot of length and volume. But what I also love about this is the primer has ingredients to support lash growth. So if you're doing the Revitalash serum at night and you really want to just extend those benefits throughout the day, this is a great way to do that. And then I'm going to go in and apply mascara. I like to apply mascara just before the primer completely dries. I want it to still be a little wet. That way I can really move and separate the lashes still. If it's completely dry, I'll have difficult times separating the lashes. Now I like to get a couple of coats on, but then I'm going to bounce over here to the other side, again, so that primer doesn't completely dry down. But I am going to come back and build the lash up even more. I find that when you allow the product to slightly dry down, not completely dry down, but slightly dry down, you're able to like build more volume. Yes, it can risk getting a little clumpier, but I don't have any issues with this mascara. I like real dramatic lashes lately. I've been so tempted to get lash extensions again. I know you guys are going to tell me not to do it in the comments, and I think you're right. I shouldn't do it, but I have been very tempted to. But I love applying makeup too much, and I do feel like when I have lash extensions, it really prevents me from enjoying the process of eye makeup as much, you know, because I'm not applying mascara, and it's hard to apply eyeliner, you know. When you have lash extensions, it's a little trickier, so for that reason, I won't do it again. but I do love having really pretty full lashes. I can't get over this foundation. There have been so many incredible foundations lately. I feel like every foundation I've tried over the last month, I've gotten on here and tell you how amazing it is, which I hope that that doesn't frustrate you guys as consumers to be like, oh, I thought you said this one was amazing. I thought you said, I mean, they're just coming out with amazing formulas. The technology in makeup formulating is just so good right now. Yesterday I did a video for L'Oreal and I wore the True Match Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. And you guys, it had been a while since I had applied that one. And that one's a favorite. I've talked about that for many years. But again, it had been a while since I applied it and I had it on yesterday and I thought, this is just as good as any $60 foundation, period. It's just as good. I'm gonna do a little bit on the lower lash. So all that to say is you definitely don't have to go buy all these products that I talk about. You know, my content is a beauty channel, so I'm always talking about new products. And I know I share a lot of makeup and I know I buy a lot of makeup, but the truth is we don't really need all of this makeup, do we? It's fun, and if you enjoy it, that's great, but I don't want you to feel like you have to buy the newest, greatest, hottest thing, right? Just because it's new, because the truth is it's all good. There's so many great products. Okay, we're about to be moving soon, like probably in about 6 or 8 weeks. So I'm in the process of packing and purging. Now, because I do this, obviously I can't purge all of my makeup, but I'm very tempted to just really scale down what I keep in my home and then just take everything else to the studio where I film content. I'm very tempted to do that, honestly. What do we think here? We need to touch up the brows. I'm really loving the eyes though. I think they are looking good. I need to take the shimmer up a little higher because it didn't quite blend out the way that I wanted it to. So I'm gonna go back in with the 209 and I'm gonna load the brush up and I'm just gonna go like right here. So I feel like it's a little abrupt. So the key with this product, you guys, after I've applied it a few times from experience, there's a lot of impact with this product, meaning just a little swipe and you've got high impact. This is not a product I would do several layers of. I know it looks like I am, but I'm really not. I'm just applying it in the areas that I missed. Because I do notice in areas that I did layer, it does get pretty thick and chunky because when it dries down, remember, it's so like oil proof, waterproof, all the things. So it really dries down. If you have a layer on top of layer on top of layer, it's gonna look a little dry. So don't do that. Keep it very sheer. And the beautiful thing about this product is you can keep it sheer and it still gives high impact. Layering it on top of each other doesn't actually add to the impact. It just kind of makes it too heavy looking. But now I think we are in a good spot, you guys. Oh my gosh, I love this. How are we looking? I feel like I want to go back and add a little bit more powder. I'm going to go in with the N19 again, and we're going to go back into the Sephora Blur powder. Load it up, blot it off, and just really press under here. Perfect. So good. Okay, so next I do want to use the Hourglass palette. I need to go back to my brows. Don't let me forget that. And I want to play a little bit with this. This is a product I purchased maybe a month or so ago and I'm loving it. Loving it. I'm going to go in with the N20 and I'm just going to kind of run it on a tissue just to remove any excess cream. Not a lot is coming off, so that tells me that I got most of it off onto the skin. And then I'm going to go in and we're going to take this pink shade right here and I'm just going to press it. These powders are so beautiful. Perfect. Oh, they're so gorgeous. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the highlight shade right here and we're going to kind of mix these two together. And we're going to just kind of run this down the nose a little bit just to highlight and brighten that nose. Oh, these powders are so good. They're so soft and subtle. It's really almost impossible to over highlight with this product. Then I'm going to go in with the N24, the little flat shader brush. And I'm going to pick up this powder right here from the Ambient palette. And we're going to take this and we're going to just pop this right here in the inner corner of the eye in the tear duct. Very soft. And then I'm also going to pop a little bit underneath the brow. Okay, let's go in and clean up these brows though, because I'm feeling like they definitely need to be cleaned up. I'm going to take my Precisely Brow pencil and we're just going to kind of comb through. I do have a little bit of wax in these brows already, so they're not going to move too much, but I just want to add some more shape to this brow. Okay, for lips, we're going in with the Makeup by Mario lip liner, and this is the shade Hue. And then we're going to go in with the lipstick from the Sephora collection. This is the shade 04. It's like a pretty pink. And then we're going to top it off with a little gloss. This is from the Sephora collection. Again, all these products are going to be tagged in YouTube Shopping, so you can shop them there. I love this gloss. It's a high shine. It's not sticky, but it does have some weight like a gloss does. I think it's very like blurring and smoothing to texture on the lips. It's so pretty. Oh, it's so good. This just gives high high shine. So this is the finished look. I would love to know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below and let me know if you'll be recreating this. I'm gonna tag all the products that I used in YouTube shopping. You can shop them there. I'll also link them in the description box as well, along with shade names. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.